As counterintuitive as it may sound, Linn Berggren never wanted anything to do with singing, but had to do it because of her family. And when she started getting fame in the industry, she wanted to quit so badly, but kept being manipulated by her sister Jenny, eventually trapping her into a deep depression and causing her disappearance from the scene for the past 20+ years. But the question is, if Linn was fed up with music, why did she quit Ace of Base only to continue singing for other artists? Was she really tired of fame, or was there some secret internal drama in Ace of Base? Let's find out while showing you some of her rare photos. Linn Berggren had what many would call a lucky childhood, but there's only one suspected reason why she hates talking about her background. She is not very proud of her roots. Linn came from a family where music could be easily found, and that was why she developed an interest at an early age. Linn started testing out her talents in the local church, and from then on, much was lost, until she formed a little band with her sister Jenny, her brother Jonas, and their friend Ulf Ekberg. Linn loved singing, but right from childhood, she made it clear that she didn't want to be a singer, but her sister was different. Jenny dreamt of rocking some of the biggest stages in the world, and this might just be what caused all the bad blood. Linn, as gifted as she was, would originally abandon music to study education. Not sure how that went for her, but popular blogs would report that when music persisted, Linn would put her teaching career on hold to test the waters, a decision she would regret much later on. Ace of Base was first formed as a school project by Linn's brother Jonas, and two of his friends, Johnny Linden and Nicholas Trank. Jonas would later persuade his sisters to join the band as lead singers. The new band lived through different names like New Arbot Avenue, Computer-Aided Disco, and Tech Noir. Their turnaround as a band started after they responded to an ad in the newspaper, which got them a contract with record producer John Ballard. According to Ulf Ekberg, they decided to change their name from Tech Noir to Ace of Base after receiving a dozen negative reviews from fans who struggled to remember how to pronounce their name. The band's early days were really difficult, and Linn only kept up with it because her siblings persuaded her to. A lot of people in Gothenburg, Sweden, believed that they struggled to gain recognition due to their preference for heavy metal music over techno. The only way the group was going to get the fame they deserved was by accident. In early 1992, the group sent a recording of a demo tape titled Mr. Ace to famous producer Denise Pop. He rejected their song at first listen, but fortunately, the cassette of the tape was going to get stuck in his car cassette player. This made him play the song long enough until he finally saw the potential in it. He invited them over to his studio for a proper recording session, and the result was the 1992 hit song, All That She Wants. A few weeks after its release, it climbed to #1 on the Danish chart. It was about to get even better with the release of their debut studio album, Happy Nation, and the success of this album was spread to all popular places in Europe. However, a pan-European license prevented them from being accepted by the American division. At this time, All That She Wants had reached #3 in Sweden and had spent 8 weeks at #1 in Germany. Linn was originally enjoying the success of the group, but in a few years, the whole thing would disgust her. During the promotion of their debut album, a lot of tracks saw Linn as the principal lead vocalist, and in a few other songs, Jenny and Linn shared the lead role. The group released its second album, The Bridge, and it just revealed how unfair they had been to Linn's sister, Jenny. This new album saw the Berggren sisters sharing equal vocals and media, but Linn was still going to be the most favored. She wrote and produced several songs for the album. A few months after the album's release, tragedy struck, and Linn was diagnosed with unspecified recurrent vocal problems. Before she would recover, the singer had already made up her mind. She wanted out. Linn never expected to be this famous. She didn't even want it in the first place. And so, for Linn, there was no better time to drop the microphone. But still, for some reason, she couldn't. She needed a little more motivation, and that was exactly what life would give her. Linn said, "All this wasn't part of my plan. For me, this is too big, especially with the success in America. It doesn't look like it, but it costs a lot of energy to push yourself to success at this level." The Swedish singer concluded her interview by pointing out other things that were fighting her stay in the band, things like her fear of flying and fan obsession. Berggren traveled with the band through 179 flights in 1995. This was more than enough for her to maintain a permanent stance that she had to leave. "When the plane goes down, my heart skips a beat and I can't breathe, speak, talk, or move," Linn said. In the end, she would figure out that she was more stuck than she had thought, and leaving was going to turn a few friends into enemies. In 1994, a German girl invaded Linn Berggren's family house with a knife. Her intended target was Linn, but luckily, she was not at home. So, the girl succeeded only in threatening Jenny and her mother with a knife. This was another reason to make Linn turn her back on music permanently, but for some reason, she continued. In 1997, the singer would try to venture into a solo project, and the result was the Laponia song, which was previously submitted for inclusion on The Bridge and later for Flowers. Linn continued stage performances with her band only when they agreed that she would perform secretly in the background behind the keyboards. You might remember the band's ravine at the World's Music Awards in April 1997. You might not have noticed, but Linn was there. She was miming the keyboard playing in the far background on the stage. The last straw that broke Linn Berggren's musical career was when record producer Clive Davis insisted that she recorded Every Time It Rains for the 1998 album Cruel Summer. Linn was not going to have a producer boss her around for a job she didn't like as much. Beginning with Life's a Flower, Linn got increasingly rare in the band's musical videos, and she wouldn't even do her part in the vocals of the videos. The band tried to explain her absence for many reasons, such as vocal sickness and fear of flying, but it was only a matter of time before the whole world learned that Linn Berggren was tired of entertaining them. Linn tried to play the noble way out by granting one last radio interview on Mix FM in Lebanon, where she talked about their new album plans and concluded with the song All That She Wants. Linn Berggren finally disappeared in the early 2000s, and her bandmates had a few questions to answer. They continued with their excuse that Linn had always been a shy and reserved person, so she was happy to let Jenny continue in her legacy with the group. Ulf Ekberg even once claimed that she had a camera phobia. It took 5 long years before the band finally came public with the truth. Linn withdrew from the band's activities because she had lost interest. You might have noticed the Jenny and Ulf stage chemistry. That was another detour to prevent lots of questions about Linn's disappearance. Her last public appearance with the band was during the promotion of Da Capo in September 2002, where she showed up on German television performance and mimed playing the keyboards in the background. She wanted to stay. We could see that, but to Linn, the dangers of fame outweighed the benefits. "She has no craving to be famous," Ulf reported. "She loved her fans, but the fame factor was not for her. Ever since she left Ace of Base, Linn Berggren has devoted herself to a very solitary lifestyle. She has continued to make sure that very few people know what is happening in her life, but her brother Jonas was not going to make it that easy for her. Linn's love life is as hidden as she wants it to be, as nobody knows who she has been entangled with. However, her sister, Jenny, was going to meet more luck in the love industry. She got married the same year Linn left the band to her longtime boyfriend, Jakob Petrit, a Swedish pianist. The couple share 2 children, a son and a daughter, and they all live in Gothenburg, Sweden. You must have heard the really popular rumor that Linn might be jealous of all that her sister has and enjoys today. The band, a lovely family, and the support from fans, but I don't think that Linn is disturbed. If she was ever bothered, the band left an open invitation, which she has still refused. Talent is not always enough, and Linn's story captures this perfectly. Another interesting fact you might not know about this Swedish singer is that she speaks 5 languages fluently: English, German, Spanish, Russian, and French. So the best we can do is to pray and hope that Linn is enjoying the life she has chosen and living each day with absolutely no regrets. Another interesting thing that happened to Linn behind the scenes in Ace of Base would be revealed by Linn's sister, Jenny. And maybe this was part of the reason why, ever since she left, she has not looked back. Linn announced her departure from the band sometime in 2002, but it seems like she was almost forced to stay longer than she wanted. Just around the spring of 2005, Jenny granted interviews where she revealed her sister's desire to return to the spotlight, and true to her words, Linn came back. Around October and November of that same year, Linn recorded backing vocals for the track High Life in Jenny's secondary band. The song was released on their debut album in 2006, and that was the last time we ever saw Linn or heard her voice. The entire group made a promise afterward that they would never ask her to rejoin the band ever again. In 2015, Jonas Berggren revealed that he is still in touch with his sister, and she is living a very peaceful life. Linn Berggren, now 53, possibly might have tried out other professions in life, but to us, she remains Linn Berggren, superstar of the AOB. Superstar culture quotes her net worth to be somewhere around $1 to $4 million. If you enjoyed this video, there's a good chance you'll also enjoy the one showing on your screen right now. Click, enjoy, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. See you on the next one.